Well, welcome to Omu's Cafe. We thought we'd have a great fun afternoon here today, showing some of my favorite recipes of things we can do to kind of home gating, if you will, or couch gating, because we can't tailgate right now. But it'll be a lot of fun here, so why don't you come on into the kitchen and see what we're gonna do today. So welcome, it's just like Mr. Rogers. I go from one place to another here. Today we're gonna be making carnitas, and it's one of the most versatile items you can make, and it's super cheap and easy to do. What we use is a Gold Canyon pork butt. Does anybody know where pork butt comes from? If not, I have a model for you. Here's our pig here that has all the different cuts on it and things like that. And as you can see, the Boston pork butt is actually the part we're gonna be using. So it's not from the actual back end, it's from the front end. But what we've done here already is we've cut it into larger chunks. So normally a pork butt comes in a very large piece. And this particular item is the Gold Canyon that came from Shamrock Farms that sponsors us here on the video, and also at our school. We have a great relationship with them, and we do many, many different products with them. All of the produce and everything actually comes from Mark On Foods that we get from them also, which is a partner of Shamrock Foods. So again, we've taken the pork and we've cut it into small pieces. The next step into doing the carnitas is actually to layer it with salt. So you're actually going to be very heavy on the salt. And this is what it is. It's going to tenderize it a little bit, and it's also going to season it at the same time. So we're going to be real generous with that. And then once we're finished with that, we're going to marinate this in lime juice. So we actually going to take a plastic bag, or a Ziploc bag, if you will, put the meat inside of it, and we're going to use fresh lime juice here. So what we've done is we've already pre-cut the limes and squeezed them all out just to make it a little bit faster. So at the end of the day, it's going to look like this. So you have your meat that's been salted, and then your lime juice inside of there, and then we're going to let this sit for about 6 or 7 hours. This is something you could do the day before and put in your refrigerator, and if it sits longer, it's okay. And then once we do this, we're going to take it over to our stove here, and we're going to just pop this into the pan, juice and all, everything here. We're going to put it inside, and then we're going to take just plain salad oil, and we're just going to put enough salad oil inside of here to cover the pork itself. And then we're going to put it on low. Cover it. And then we're just going to let it sit and simmer, and it's going to take about an hour, hour and a half to do those type of things. But in the meantime, while we're letting it cook, we're going to come back over and we're going to work on making a few other things here. When you're making the carnitas, there's many different things you can do with it. You can make nachos with it, you can make tacos, you can make quesadillas and things like that. And what we're going to do, start with, we're going to make some of the accoutrements that go with it. So with that being said, guacamole is always everybody's favorite, right? So one of the best ways to make guacamole is to use fresh avocados. These are Hass avocados from Mark On. We're going to cut them in half, give it a slight twist on both of them. And then we're going to take the heel of your knife and just give it a little stab, a twist, and it pops right out. And then we're going to do the same thing here again. Just take that out. We're going to take our spoon, we're going to scoop out the avocado here and put it in our bowl. We'll do this again until we're all done. Now you can definitely make this guacamole ahead of time and have it in your refrigerator. If you can stay there, most of the time when you make guacamole, it gets eaten before it gets out of the bowl. That's what happens when you have some people over to your house. So you may want to make it ahead of time with that. So again, we have our avocados here. We are going to add a cilantro onion mixture. So what we've done with the cilantro onion mixture is just diced white onion, cilantro together, and we're going to put that inside of the about 1/4 cup to the 2 avocados. We're going to add a little bit of salt. And then we're going to take 1 lime. So a good rule of thumb for making guacamole, 2 avocados, 1 lime. We're going to cut the lime in half. We're going to give it a little squeeze. And then now that we have that, we're just going to take the back of our spoon. We're going to chop it up a little bit, break it up. Now, avocados, you may say, how do I know if they are ripe or not? And when you buy them at the store, you just want to give them a little pinch to the side of them. And if it gives a little bit, not a whole bunch, when you push on it, then it'll be ripe. If they're really, really hard, then you're going to need probably a couple days before they're going to be ready. But to make sure that they're ripe, you just want to give them just so they give just a little bit. So again, here is your guacamole. See how fast and easy that was? Super good and good for you. A lot of times people put tomatoes inside of it. Today we're not going to be doing that because the tomatoes actually give a little bit of water to it and kind of deflate the flavor of everything. So this will make it a little bit easier and faster to do. So we have some great guacamole to go with our carnitas we're going to do next. A little bit of TV magic here. Our carnitas are ready, so let's go check it out. So this is what the carnitas is going to look like when it comes out of your oil here. Now, when you first think about it, you're going, wow, I'm deep frying pork. What am I doing here? What this does is actually makes it super juicy and tender, and you can see how it caramelizes the meat at the same time. So once the meat has been cooked, and we've let this come out and sit, so it's easier to work with. If you try to take it right out of the pot and touch it, you're going to burn yourself, so you don't want to do that. You want to pull it out, let it cool slightly before you work with it. But let's go over to the counter over here, and we're going to prep it. So now that the carnitas are ready and they're cooled, what we're going to do is we're going to take them and we're just going to break them into small pieces here. So you can see how soft it just pulls right apart. And we're just going to make some big chunks here. And you just pull it right apart there. Super easy, super tender. And once we've got that all done, we basically have it like this. And now we're ready to actually crisp it up and work with it in the cooking process to make our dishes now. So now that we have our carnitas all shredded and ready to be cooking, we're going to go over to the stove and we're going to crisp them up. So first off, we're going to get a pan. We're going to get it really hot so we can caramelize the meat and everything like that. So this meat is super juicy and tender, and there's a little bit of fat still left inside of it. So when we go to put it in there, it's going to crisp up and it's going to brown at the same time. We're going to add just a little bit of lime juice to it and salt. And then this is going to really season. It's going to really pull out the perfume, and you're going to smell it throughout the kitchen here. Sorry you can't smell it through the camera, but it's going to be fantastic when we go to make this. One of the meanings of carnitas means little meat. And obviously you can see that with the little chunks here. It's actually little chunks of meat. So that's one of the kind of fun facts about what carnitas really means. So now that our pan is heating up here, we're just going to add just about a tablespoon of oil here. And then we're going to add our meat. And you can hear it already sizzling there. You know, in the kitchen, they call that singing. So as we are letting that cook a little bit, we're going to salt it just slightly. And you're going to say, well, I salted it earlier. Why do I have to salt it again? As you do the cooking process, the salt is used to actually cook the food and penetrate it, but then you got to resalt it to adjust the seasoning to get it just right. We're using a kosher salt here that Shamrock provides us. It's called True Salt, and it's one of the natural sea salts. There's no chemicals, no additives or anything like that. It's actually the same one we use at the Student Union also. So as we're letting this start to bubble and things, you can see there's great bubbles, and the meat is just starting to caramelize and things like that. What we've done here is we've cut a couple of limes here, and then once we turn this for the first time, you'll see that the color is going to change. It's going to change from this kind of the white pale color to more of a darker, richer color. And when that happens, we're going to add the lime juice to it. And what happens when you add the lime juice to it, think of like a vinaigrette, and we're going to emulsify it. So the acid from the lime is going to mix with a little bit of fat that's left inside the pan from the pork, and it's going to come together and almost coat it with a glaze or a sauce around the outside of the carnitas, and that's what really gives it that great, wonderful flavor there. So as we're doing it, I'm just kind of letting it stir just a little bit more here. We really want to make sure that it gets a good hard sear to it before we turn it, because that pulls out all the flavor that we need to have there. But you can see it kind of dancing around and things like that. So when we go to flip it, you can see that dark crunch that's coming onto the meat now. So now that our meat is all nice and caramelized here, just gonna toss it around a little bit. Now we're gonna add the lime juice here. So once we put this in, you're gonna see that it's gonna start smoking. And this is going to, again, emulsify the fat with the acid here, and it's going to glaze the meat. So now that we've done that, we're just going to toss it just a little bit. We're just going to take a little taste. We're going to add just a teeny bit more salt. And now we're ready to go.